This man is always doing a lot of exceptional work. Lonely Flowers is his special. It's on Hulu. It's a hit. You should watch it. A lot of people are saying it's perfect, that he and Bill Burr have the best comedy specials going at the moment. He also has a fun show, a news show, Have I Got News for You, on CNN and Max. And now he's doing Celebrity Jeopardy, and he's sitting courtside at a Knicks game with his idol, Tom Joyner. So there's a lot to talk to him about. Also, he's sitting opposite a very bitter grandpa Shaq, as he just takes out everyone in the league for some reason by just sitting across from Roy, and then all of a sudden Shaq is just crucifying everybody. So you sat there, Roy Wood Jr., across from Shaq, and you thought what? As he just let everyone in the league have it for some reason when you sat down opposite him.
Here's the crazy thing about my episode on Shaq's podcast. That was the last 10 minutes of the podcast today. We talked about everything but basketball for an hour. And then just at the end, hey, do you think Biggs will evolve? I'll elbow Wemby in the mouth and knock his teeth out and make him quit. And I was just like, hey, he played, I didn't. I just need to be quiet on this one. Like, I'm not sure if I completely agree, but this is not the place to disagree. I'll just put it that way. Like, Shaq earned the right to take these shots. I don't know why he does it all the time. I will say that. But, it was fun to sit with him in his element, but you could tell just being right across from him that he really is annoyed with the way the game is being played currently.
I think that you probably, I don't know how many times you've been around Shaq, but this happens all the time around Shaq.
That was my first time meeting him.
Okay, so did you do what everyone does about Shaq? Because going in, there's a thing about Shaq, that he's giant. And yet still, when people get next to him, they're like, God, he's big. Like, it going in, and you still don't really actually know it.
Yeah, no, it was cool to just talk basketball with him for a second, but the way my question that I didn't get to in the room with him would have been like, everybody wants 90s basketball, but if you got 90s basketball without 90s referees, you're still like, Shaq would be teed up and tossed before the second quarter. If you're talking about elbowing Wemby in the mouth and then taking Chet Holmgren to the hole every time, like, I don't know if we're gonna ever be able to play like that again. Like, I wonder if aggression to a degree has been kind of legislated out, and to everybody else's point on that podcast, these kids now, like, there's no benefit to being the murderous, killer, death stare college basketball player anymore. That's going to mess up your NIL money. Nobody's going to let you do Experian tax app commercials if you're the mean growling person. So I don't know if that mentality will even exist in basketball at the lower levels in another 5 years, man.
Greg Cody has alleged here, and we haven't even gotten to this today, that Florida has ruined college basketball, and the transfer that the transfer portal has ruined college basketball.
Well, yeah, not Florida. I mean, Florida's merely taking advantage of what the NCAA has allowed. But do you agree? I mean, we've had more than 2,000 transfers just in this window, and
I was afraid that was going to happen. When
I saw
you were
the little
coughing.
hiccup.
I was afraid that was going to happen. He was coughing as I was going to him. He was coughing, and I saw on his face that he was about to cough.
Tried to fight through.
He was trying to muffle the cough, and it just became clear that he was not going to win that fight.
Okay, I want to ask Roy that as much as it benefits the good teams, the rich get richer now because of the transfer portal. But it's been bad for the sport, I think, because it's chaotic now. You had players transferring from teams that made the Sweet 16 this year during the tournament. Yeah. It just seems ridiculous to me.
I think I don't know how you salary cap it per se, but I think that there's a very good way to keep this down. I think it was Carmelo Anthony on his podcast that said 2-year minimums. But, Melo was also talking about just take the student part out of it and just let these schools hire basically athletic mercenaries to play for them to represent the school. I do think that's the eventuality of where NIL is headed in another 10 years if we don't rein it in. But the idea of locking a student in for at least 2 years if you transfer, I think is something that's fair. I don't think we're never going to go back to the old days. So this idea of Mount St. Mary's punching up and beating Kentucky, done. That stuff's gone. Mount St. Mary's got to get their money up and figure out how to sell cocaine on the side as a university. I do feel like you have to keep the money in the sport. That's fair to the kids. What's happening with NIL is that it's all of the outside cash and all of the outside influences that are changing all of this. When you got kids hawking card, here's a bigger question about NIL. Has anybody been influenced to buy anything from any of these children you've seen on TV? I'm not here to mess up your bag, but seeing Flau'jae Johnson tell me I can get my credit straight, I know my credit bad, Flau'jae. Get your money, girl. But also, you weren't going to influence me any more than the next person was to buy the thing. 9 times out of 10 is word of mouth. So I think that college hoops is going to become D1 and D2 in a sense where you're going to have and have nots. And that's just what you got to get used to. And you just got to hope that one school has a loyal dummy who doesn't transfer because his daddy went there or something stupid.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does Mount St. Mary need to sell cocaine on the side to keep up in the NIL game at Le Batard Show? Celebrity Jeopardy here. How do you prepare for it? How scared were you or not scared were you?
We got the semifinals tonight. I won last month. It's fun because you're raising money. I'm raising money for I See Me Incorporated, a nonprofit in Birmingham that promotes literacy in children. If you can read, you don't go to jail. They got the statistics to prove it. So you're excited because you're helping people, but you also don't want to be the one that's embarrassed. I can't say whether or not I won or not tonight, but there was a question I got wrong that was extremely easy that I know tomorrow morning my social media mentions are there's going to be some chit chat and accountability that's going to be needed for me for getting that particular question wrong. You can't prepare for it. Either you're dumb or you're not, and it's too late to cram. Like, what are you going to do? Learn all the solar system, moons of Jupiter before you get out there in front of Ken Jennings? And I tried to cram because I know my soft spots. Greek and Roman mythology, because there's no reason for us to ever have learned that in the first place. I'm not good with Shakespeare. I'm not good with the Bible. And I'm shaky on U.S. vice presidents. Like when you get into Spiro Agnew, heads of chief of staffs, and who was the 8th dude on the Watergate tape, that type of stuff.
They
I don't know
do
any
that
of
to the celebrities. It's always easier for the celebrities.
I know. And that's why I feel confident now. All I need to know is like what a raccoon is and recognize 2 statues. Because it's a lot of stupid celebrities. There really should be, like, you want to talk about tier 1, tier 2. There should be smart celebrity Jeopardy and then dummy celebrity Jeopardy.
I want to ask you some follow-up questions without getting you in trouble about your future embarrassment tomorrow. Surely, contractually, you could give us some hints about why and how you're embarrassed without betraying Celebrity Jeopardy.
I don't know if I can give away category. Can I give away? I'll say this.
I don't think you can.
I need to know. I need to know more geography. I'll just say that. And the thing about Jeopardy tricks you because it's how they word the question and the amount of time you have to answer it, and the pressure of it forces you to say something stupid. And it's not that you don't know it, it's that the way you worded the question confused me. Like, it's like when I don't know, you remember, Dan, you come home late 3 a.m. and your girl is like, so you were with the strippers. And you're like, what? So you were. Like, no, you didn't give me a chance to, and it's too late. You should have just said, were you at the strip club, yes or no? But they don't frame the question that way. They frame it in a way where your brain can't process it, and then you look dumb, and then strangers heckle you.
I'll choke in those circumstances because you're not wrong that the pressure will get to you. You will know an answer, and you will freeze up.
Yeah, but it's fine. I was happy to do it. I had more fun at Jeopardy than I did Wheel of Fortune or the Pyramid. No, I had the most fun at Jeopardy because Wheel of Fortune, you're just setting up the next person to win, and it's luck. You got to hope they screw up, and then you get to solve the puzzle. It's got to kind of fall in your lap. Pyramid, if you lose, you're sitting across from the stranger who you cost $50K, and they're a little mad. And like that I feel kind of bad about because that's not for charity. That's like a regular person who needs that money. So I didn't like the pressure of that.
Is anything that you crammed for, did any single thing help you?
No, but in the first round, they had historically black colleges as one of the categories. And
Wow.
oh, brother, I was licking my chops.
It was Rosie Perez and White Man Can't Jump. All the questions were coming up that she studied. You must have been so happy.
Dan, it'd be like if you were on Celebrity Jeopardy and the category was Cuban stuff. Just a layup, oh my God, it was beautiful. Then the next category was chess. And all I do was play chess with my son, and I was just like, yes, Smithers. I ran those two categories back to back, start doubling and tripling down in double Jeopardy, and that's how I won, man. Because I went to a black college, both of my parents graduated from a black college. If I don't get these questions right, I have to leave the black race immediately.
Did you look to your right and your left and have any other black people, or were you like, was that?
Yeah, Phoebe Robinson was there too, and Phoebe got one of them right too, and I was like, good, make sure you get one right too so that they know you know something. You got to let Phoebe get one too.
You gave her one, right, Roy?
Yes. Watching. I don't know if there's any other race of people that are under more pressure on a quiz show than black people to be accountable to their own race when it is a topic inherent to their race. Like as a black man on Jeopardy answering questions about black colleges, I'll be an article in Essence magazine. Like they will slander. So I don't know if any other race has that type of, like if you're an Italian and the category is tomato sauces, like is that pressure? I don't know. That felt racist, but you get what I'm trying to say.
It does seem like pressure, but also something that you were excited by. If one of your team captains from Have I Got News for You, Amber Ruffin, she was supposed to do the White House Correspondence dinner, and they announced that they pulled the offer. Have you talked to her about this, and what do you say to her, and what happened there?
We made a mention on it on the most recent episode, and what Amber said on our show was essentially that she intended to go at both sides, but as the country started to devolve, she felt like it was hard to ignore people getting sent to El Salvador and the recession and the measles outbreak. She just felt like there were so many things going on that to oscillate books both ways, she had no interest in doing that anymore. She wanted to laser focus on the administration and the correspondence people. They said, well, we can't have you do that. And once that was clear and in the open, Amber said that she just would respectfully pull out of it. Because I think the thing, everybody calls the press corps, cowards for their decision to not have a comedian there, to not hit both sides. But I really feel like in a way, they're in a rock and a hard place. Is it a sucker decision? Yeah, I think so. But I also think that what's not being considered is the potential backlash on the backside from the Trump administration to the White House pool reporters who were there, who were supposed to be honoring and celebrating. They're probably going to lose access, potentially. If you dare hold this event where they trash me, I'm going to give you less access to me on the backside of that. And then this whole idea of accountability and calling out what's going on, how much are you compromising your ability as a journalist to hold this administration accountable for the next 3.5 years if you let Amber get up there and tell them jokes? And you don't know that. And so that's the juggling act that I think they were weighing. I hate that comedy was removed because comedy is the way that you get people to pay attention to all of the other stuff that you want honored and celebrated, on that day. But the event at its core, it is about honoring journalism. So I just hope that we're able to still bring some attention to the people. But, I stand with Amber. I support my co-hosts, 1,000,000% over. But that's just it's a rock and a hard place right now. And it's funny because, I always thought Republicans were the ones that could take a joke, but Guess not.
You hosted that event though, so what was your level of disappointment and her level of disappointment? Because what that event's a giant event for a comedian.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I did the event under Biden, so that was a little bit easier in terms of, is this a room that's ready to laugh, and can you attack both sides? It's like, yeah, I could. I mean, there were still kids in cages, but other than that, you can still find the laughs around the chaos in that administration. There was, it's a room where at best you're only going to get half the room at any given time, because the other half can't laugh because they don't think you're funny, or they're sitting with their boss that you made the joke about. So it's already a weird room to begin with. And I think also, I think part of why the Correspondence dinner works is because Republicans and elected officials all show up from both sides. So also keep in mind, when Amber stepped down, when they rescinded the offer from Amber, Trump was talking about doing his own competing event the same night. So if you have no Republicans in the room and you have someone on stage that's only bashing Republicans, then they're going to be able to flip and use that politically to do whatever they want to, control the narrative about what the messaging in media. So, it's a slippery thing, man. So how do you do both sides if both sides aren't even in the room? That kind of removes the roast. The roast element of it requires you to be here, because I have to do this to your face.
Put us next to you at the Knicks game where you're courtside with your idol, Tom Joyner, or one of your idols. What was happening here? Where does this rank in terms of honors and privileges that you have gotten as a perk in your career?
I grew up on the school bus listening to the Tom Joyner morning show, and, for what Tom Joyner did over his 30 years in syndicated radio, just taking money from his foundation, putting kids through college. I think when he retired in 2017, I think the number was like 30 or 40,000. Like, you could take every person that received money for college from Tom Joyner and fill a professional sports stadium with. Like, to be able to just sit next to him, never got a chance to work with him, but to just sit and listen to stories of his time in Tuskegee on the radio, to his time and every wild story from his world famous Tom Joyner cruises, which is how he raises the money for his foundation. That was, next to catching a game with my father, which I'll never be able to do. It was really dope, man. It really was.
Did you have any idea that that's the outfit that he would wear? And did you have any commentary about the outfit that he was wearing?
Being that floral sweatsuit, I'm sure, costs more than my salary at CNN, I will simply say, nice outfit, Mr. Joyner. That's all I will say. Like, there's certain outfits where it just looks so expensive, you can't even say nothing about it. You just go, I would never wear it, but it's a great Bruce would say, it looks good on you.
But what were you thinking? I know what you had to say, but what were you thinking, Roy?
He just told us.
Damn,
I feel like
it's a lot of flowers, Tom Joyner. A lot of damn flowers.
Lonely Flowers is the name of his Hulu special.
Roy, I have a question for you. So we were talking about you courtside at the Knicks game. Tracy Morgan recently returned to sitting courtside. The last time he was there, he threw up all over the court. He had to be taken out. He had a medical issue. If you threw up all over the court, how long would it take for you to feel comfortable in going back to sitting courtside?
I don't know if I return that season. I don't know if I return at all that season. But Tracy Morgan is like the unofficial mascot of the Knicks. Like, it's Tracy and Spike Lee, I guess, to a degree. So you got to have both of them back in the game. I'm just glad that when it happened with Tracy, like, immediately there was caring concern about him and his health and making sure he's recovering. Because we weren't always like that as a society. Like, if you had a public health episode, we would just say crack. We would just assume crack and just say you're a crackhead and he's a drunk. And I feel like we finally progressed as a society to a point where we can just guess maybe it's Ozempic.
What if you had to go, though? What if you were a Knicks fan? What if you had to go in order for them to win and you had to throw up every time? Because when he said, he was like, I had food poisoning, but the Knicks are 1-0 when I throw up on the court now. How many times would you go back and keep doing it?
You know what I thought for sure? I thought for sure they were going to take like his vomit and put it in like little souvenir vials.
Yeah, you have to.
And then like call that like the vomit game or something. I was checking the stats to see what the Knicks record was post-vomit, but it's not solid enough to directly point to the vomit being a catalyst for them getting momentum going into the playoffs. I think if the Knicks if Tracy Morgan had to vomit every home game for the Knicks to win, I think he would happily come out there and ruin his stomach lining for the team.
It's like the Grimace Mets, but way worse.
He is built like Grimace. I love you, Tracy.
A Topps
Respectfully.
1-of-1 vomit insert, though, would be amazing.
I want some honesty from you on this. While you were talking, Chris Cody said to me, he's like, never has there been a larger gulf between 1A and 1B than
right.
Spike Lee and Tracy Morgan. And I feel like what happened to you is you said Tracy Morgan and then you remembered Spike Lee and you're like, I made,
No
the,
doubt.
I made
Yes.
the mistake of making
Spike.
Tracy the
It's
mascot.
Spike, yes.
It's fine.
You got caught up.
Yeah, it's all right.
No, because here's the thing. You get on this show and talk, and then I'm just thinking of what the comments will be. What about Spike? How you forget Spike Lee? You ain't black. That's why when you was on Jeopardy, you missed that question about geography. Man, I hate black people. And then I'm in an Essence magazine article, and then it just go, and the Griot is talking about me, going, Roy Wood disrespect Spike Lee, and then it's all awkward.
Well, I also think that you're racist because you put Tracy Morgan ahead of Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller don't even stand up during the game. He can't be the mascot. He's a super fan. I'll give Ben Stiller credit because he was checking the score at award shows. So that's a diehard fan. But Ben Stiller ain't standing up like Spike Lee with his hand on his hips like a black mama on the porch looking for her child. Show me that picture and I'll correct myself.
Wow, doubling
You
down.
remember when Spike was standing like this? Yeah, my camera's hiding. You know the picture. It's the legendary Spike picture. Yeah. Show me Ben Stiller like that, and I'll say Ben Stiller's the mascot of the Knicks. Until then, it's Spike Lee, Tracy Morgan, 1B.
Do you have a signature semi-sure bet of the week for us, or do we have to wait until next time?
Let's wait until next time. I will say that I like what the Cubs have been doing in spite of their record. I think they're a couple games above 500. It's a little early, but they're third in the league in runs scored per average right now. And I think that they're doing that without the torpedo bats. Like, if I'm not mistaken, the Cubs, there we go. The Cubs got 84 runs this season. Most runs scored, not average. Most runs scored. Yankees 78, Cardinals 66. So the Cubs are hitting the ball good. You just need the pitching to come together a little bit. So just put your money on them right now.
All right. So it'll have to wait till next time, but you gave us a little sweetener. You gave us Lonely Flowers is streaming now on Hulu. Have I got news for you? You should watch it. It's CNN and Max. It's streaming the next day on Max after it's on CNN. You should go to roywoodjr.com for his latest tour dates and information. Thank you, sir. It's always good seeing you.
Love y'all.
Thank you, Roy.
I am told that we have a gas bag of the week, and I'm very excited for the return of gas bag of the week, and it needs some context here, Stugotz, because you love your New York sports radio, and Jameis Winston did a fairly benign thing of thanking Cleveland for his time there.
So the Giants currently have Russell Wilson and Jameis on their roster. And Jameis, weeks after being signed with the Giants, decided, I'm going to thank Cleveland. He wrote a nice letter. The part that people got a little up in arms about, he says, one moment I'll never forget, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday Night Football in what turned out to be the most iconic snow game in NFL history. The energy, the emotion, the unity, we all felt it that night. That night in Cleveland was Cleveland at its finest. That is just a harmless paragraph.
Is it? Is it benign?
Really?
It's a
Or
harmless.
is it disrespecting NFL history?
So now
There's
Giants.
one snow game.
Giants Radio. I think it's Evan and Tiki in New York. They have a producer, Sean Marash. They let the producers talk. That's crazy. Sean Marash, a producer for that show, was not happy with Jameis Winston for that letter.
If you like the idea that Jameis Winston makes you laugh and do all, that's all good and plenty. Jameis Winston stinks. Okay, and I've been adamant about this. The idea that now you know the situation. He could have penned this letter to Cleveland for the Giants even signed Russell Wilson.
He's so good, man.
He puts it in there because he knows anybody reading that is good. There's going to be light bulbs that go off in people's people's heads that he beat Russell Wilson head-to-head, all while lying and calling it the most iconic game. So now, here we go. You already start to divide a fan base a little bit. And, like you said, what was the lead yesterday? The lead on this show yesterday was Evan Roberts turning to Tiki Barber saying, is there a chance a locker room rallies around Jameis Winston? This guy is an unintentional cancer. Cut him today.
Oh, come on.
Cut him today.
Come on.
He's not better than Russell Wilson. The team should be taking a quarterback in the draft, and Tommy DeVito still exists. Why is he here? He's here to throw interceptions, and God rescue us from pick sixes. I'm glad everybody thinks the Giants can be the Chuckle Hut. I'm tired of being a joke, and Jameis Winston is causing this team to be more of a goddamn joke.
20 share.
I think that's a good take.
Of the week.
Got him today?
And Tommy DeVito still exists.
That was a sentence.
I can't believe you can say goddamn on that show.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On FAN. That's great. That's knowing your audience.
I do think Jameis Winston, if he's on your team, he annoys you. If he's not on your team, you love him. I do. I believe that. Yes. I mean, he's not that good.
He's not
I can also see the opposite.
Yes, I think you can. I think he
Very
throws
easily.
so many interceptions. I don't think that Stugotz has the accurate appraisal here on what
never
the
been on my
Jameis
team.
Winston experience is. You can only love Jameis Winston if he's not on your team.
He's never been on my team, but one thing that I usually don't like out of my quarterbacks are like loads of interceptions.
30 interceptions.
That's a good way to
in the
lose
season.
me.
Yeah.
Personally.
And fumbles.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Has an NFL quarterback ever had the personality to overcome 30 interceptions in a season? Because Jameis is trying. He's closer than most, but in both categories. Because can you guys find me? Because football has changed so much, so I don't know if Dan Fouts had a 30 interception season. Although,
I don't think so.
But just the idea that in the age where Aaron Rodgers perfected the idea of the quarterback cannot turn the ball over, to have a quarterback who had 30 interceptions in a season in that age is totally insane. It's the kind of reckless that is just absurd.
The most Fouts had in a single season was 24. 24 interceptions.
Most of the, I guess, like the top 10 of this list of most interceptions are pre-NFL merger. Like there's some from the 80s, but a lot of George Blanda, 42 in one season.
Wow.
Good contribution.
That is your
Vinny Testaverde, 35. Vinny the T. UM. Go Canes.
Frank
1988.
Tripucka.
Vinny the T.
Yeah,
It's
that's
your
what I
era,
call him.
Greg.
Yeah, I covered him.
George Blanda, also his era.
Well, not
Sid
quite.
Luckman, your era.
Yeah, Sid Luckman.
Sid the L.
Exactly.
Otto Graham, O the G.
You
The
saw,
OG.
you saw that the NFL has to acknowledge. Well, they made a ruling that they're going to acknowledge the 1940s, and so now Tom Brady is tied in rings with Otto Graham.
Really?
Yeah, overnight the
Love
Browns
that
became
idea. Good call.
overnight the Browns became like the third most winningest franchise in
Maybe
NFL
not so much
history.
anymore.
Greg, do you know who Ron Burgundy is?
Yes.
Because-
The broadcaster from the movies.
Go on, keep
Yeah,
going. Talk
Played,
No,
this
I
out.
mean,
played by?
When it's so good,
I'm
you don't know
picturing
the actor.
Right.
You know, you just know the
He
character.
truly
Yeah.
transformed
guy.
himself into
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy.
yeah, the SNL guy.
Tracy Morgan.
When I
The
say
SNL guy.
when I say to you that Kevin Harlan, one of the great broadcasters, had a Ron Burgundy moment, and the only reason I quizzed you on this is because you're famously not someone who knows about movies.
Yep.
On the Greg Cody Show, featuring Greg Cody, you
With-
do a segment in which you talk about how little you know about movies, and your sons make fun of you.
Yeah.
So when I say that Kevin Harlan had a Ron Burgundy moment, do you know what I mean?
I don't know. And I've seen that movie and I enjoyed it, but I don't know that there's a moment associated with the Burgundy character.
So Ron Burgundy was obviously famously dumb anchorman, and he read the teleprompter, just read it without actually absorbing. Stugotz does some of this without retaining the words, And so what he did obviously was spectacularly broadcaster wrong because they put something in the prompter that was meant to embarrass him and he just read it.
Stugotz did this in the last segment with Weekend Observations when he read a top 5 list that he thought he was going to be reading on Tuesday that had Roy in it and could not edit it on the spot to take Roy out and put me into it.
Yep. You were still number 2 on Tuesday. I'm telling you.
Who was the actual number 2?
Me.
Also, Dan, not on this list. Okay.
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was happy to be 5.
You're great at what you do, though.
I'm honored.
You're welcome.
Career highlight.
You guys have been congratulating each other here recently because you just informed Stugotz that he was number 8 on the list of
A little upset, I got to be honest.
best 100 guests you've ever had.
Yeah, my top 100 guests. Dan, unfortunately, just missed the top 10.
We mentioned earlier Zach Thomas. He's number 68 on Greg Cody's show, top 100 guests of all time, just ahead of Billy Gill at 69.
But if his name was Zach Urlacher, I think he'd be top 30.
You know what? You got that right.
That's true.
That's true. You're as in Urlacher magic.
Put it on the
Urlacher.
poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Would Zach Thomas be more highly regarded if his name was Zach Urlacher? At Le Batard Show. But here is, so Kevin Harlan's exceptional at what he does, but here is his Ron Burgundy moment.
Tonight from Madison Square Garden, the NBA on TNT is brought to you by the new crispy tenders at CarMax. What? The way car buying should be. Can that be? What is that? Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Hold on. Are they serving tenders with cars? Are there tenders in the car?
Because if there is, you're in.
We just had the marriage of 2 different sponsors, and it was ugly. Who wrote that?
Only you can laugh about it.
Well, that just goes to show you, I literally will read anything they put in front of me without even looking like, holy cow.
Speaking of which, in honor of our 20th anniversary here and some way back sound, see if you can find, Chris, just go ahead and search cowboy hat made of bacon so that you can see the time that we tricked Stugotz by just putting a read in front of him that he shouldn't have been reading to see how long it would take before he would stop reading and just say, what am I reading?
Follow the herd, nearly 300 head of cattle into the heart of Miami. Admissions free. Don't miss the horse shows, arts and crafts, all the plants and flowers you can buy, a farmer's market, dog skill show, live bands, great food, and more. Like their cowboy hat made of bacon, kids will love petting the cows, cougars, donkeys, mules, ducks, birds, rattlesnakes, and everyone's favorite, alligator wrestling for the kids. And the huge fun zone.
Alligator wrestling for kids, kind of believable in Florida.
Alligator wrestling for the kids and the huge fun zone.
From game night to parties with friends or special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. When I think of Miller Lite, I think of me and my dad cheersing, watching a Marlins game on a cruise together. We get the and the cheers. It's just, when I think of Miller Lite, I think of times with my dad, times with family and friends. It's the original light beer since 1975, still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. That's right, it's time for Against the Spread. And it's brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Mike, start us off.
I'm going to write a hot hand in hockey. By the way, we did some number crunching on the total succession rate, conversion rate on power plays in the NHL. Right now, it's as good as it's been since the mid-'80s. you won't have a team setting records the way that the Edmonton Oilers did, but the floor is a lot higher now in the NHL. So the St. Louis Blues have won 9 out of their last 10. They are scorching hot. Monty and them boys are finally clicking on all cylinders over there. They have a tough test today at Edmonton, but I'm going to ride the hotter team. I'm going to go alt spread here. Going to take a chance. Going to take Blues -1.5 on the road to...
Against the
No, let him
spread.
It wasn't done.
To cash that in at hopefully over plus 240 juice against the spread.
Usually when you say the spread,
I got it.
Yeah, but I'm taking an
that's
alt
me.
spread, so
Yeah.
it's like juicy.
Accountability, that's on me.
No, it's all right.
Yeah. My turn?
Again.
Let's go to Billy.
All right, I'm going to stay on the ice, and the Calgary Flames are headed to Anaheim to take on the Ducks.
Your Ducks.
Wow.
I've been big on the Ducks this year. Now, you look head-to-head, the Calgary Flames, 3 wins, no losses against the Ducks so far by scores of 4-1, 4-1, and 3-2 in overtime. The Flames have lost 4 of their last 7, 4 of their last 11, and 14 of their last 25. On the other hand, the Ducks have lost 3 of their last 7, 6 of their last 11, and 13 of their last 25. The Ducks have been eliminated from the postseason already, but you know these scrappy Ducks, they're not just going to roll over here to the Flames who are still in playoff contention. That's why I'm going to take the Anaheim Ducks +1.5 tonight
Against the spread.
What an odd game to take.
So you're laying the 4 out of their last 7, but also 4 out of their last 11.
Yeah, they had a win streak in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right, Greg, bring us
Plus
home.
1.5, right?
+1.5 for the Ducks against the spread.
I think power play goals should only count as half goal.
Ooh.
I want to make that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. I want to make that change in the NHL. It'll never happen because it messes with history. And
What about empty
statistics.
netters?
Empty netters should also count as a half a goal.
Wow.
Would you be able to bet on quarter goals then?
No.
Huh.
Like 2 1/4 is the over tonight.
What if you do it past the blue line? Is that 2 goals maybe?
If I may, let me
Yeah.
follow this logic
Sure.
ladder.
Yeah.
A power play goal should only count as half a goal because you have a person advantage, right?
Yes. Right.
But you have a person disadvantage most times again when you have an empty net situation.
1.5.
1.5 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are on the opposite end of a power play, it's 1.5
No, it makes
goals.
a lot of sense, Mike. I don't know what you're not understanding.
Right.
Right, what's a shorthanded goal worth now?
2.
I haven't thought of that.
That's what
far
I'm saying.
ahead.
1.5.
A shorty.
It's
Yeah.
1.5. Because if it's half one way, 1.5 the other way.
Let's be reasonable.
I'm
That
here.
would never happen.
What?
The half goal.
A shorthanded goal?
The half goal for a power play goal is legit. That could happen. Devaluing the empty net goal is something that I would take a long, hard look at. Ovechkin, to his credit, said that he would not score his record-breaking goal on an empty net, which I thought was nice.
Oh, you got to just score it.
Don't you like the 5-on-4 though? Like the action picks up, the pace picks up.
I like it for the game.
In fact, I would say it should always be 5-on-4. That team should have to leave someone on the offensive side.
That
No
I
bad
could see.
ideas
How about
here.
that?
No bad ideas. We're just spitballing.
Yeah,
I was
that
so
could see.
bothered by Ovechkin saying that he didn't want the empty net goal.
Oh, you got to take
Really?
it. You take
You take it. It would have
Goal's
been a
a goal.
hat trick. It would have been
Right.
cool. Like, again, he
I'm with
missed like a season and a half due to work stoppages, and he had COVID impact him. Like, we got it, man. You're good. You've had enough obstacles. It's all right. Have one empty netter on us.
He wanted to earn it. Wanted to earn, wanted to learn. I like that.
Yeah, but it's not his fault. They took the goalie out. Take the goal when you can get the
No,
goal.
I wouldn't do it.
Gretzky would have taken that goal.
Ovechkin has a record-breaking 65 empty net goals in his career, so he has more than Gretzky.
Yeah.
I hold that against him.
I do
Signature
too.
play.
Shouldn't have scored the first 2 if they didn't want them to pull the goalie. Think about it.